Andrew, even with the amount of success that you've had in the yard like this, to have a 2,000 Guineas winner at the start of the season is incredible for you.
Yeah, no, it's a great result for the whole team, and obviously been looking forward to it for a long while, and even longer than normal. Look, he's a very smart horse, so we always had high hopes for him last year, and he finished the year really well, and the way he'd been working, we went there with a little bit more optimism than we usually would. So, no, it was just a fantastic result for everybody connected with the horse.
I think people are very, very interested. I mean, was he, when he was broken in when he came here, was he a champion straight off? Did you say, this is the one, this is the
Well,
boy?
he'd always looked, when we start sitting them upsides, you get a sort of a feel of what does it naturally, and he was always a natural. Yeah, certainly going to his first race at Sandown, I remember I'd obviously given the Qatar team, some good indication that he was probably all right, because Sheikh Fahd actually rang me that day, worried that it was too hot. It was one of those baking hot days in the heat wave last year, that did we really want to run him in the heat? And we did. We ended up running him. And he's just such a laid-back horse. He seems to take everything in his stride. And, probably if he had a better trainer, he'd be unbeaten now, because he, looking back on it, probably my fault he got beaten the Royal Lodge. And, well, I don't think I'd been hard enough on him or done enough sort of stronger gallops going into the race. He was just a bit fresh and free. And he sort of, Ashin gave him a kick at the 2-pole, and he rather sort of lit up and just got collared at the end. I think it cost him. Maybe if he'd been a bit more streetwise, he would have won the Solario as well. So you look back on that and you think it's sort of fine margins between being unbeaten and having 2 defeats. But you do sort of live and learn. And I think as a result of those mistakes, we've probably got it spot on for the Guineas.
And the third turn for Chioti victory, Oshin was saying it surprised him. Did it surprise you?
No, and I don't know what, Ashin had sort of ridden him in a couple of pieces of work here. Maybe he hadn't blown him away, but I'd seen enough of him to know that he's top, high caliber horse, and I was certainly very hopeful before the Futurity.
And what was it like for you watching the Guineas? Watching the way that he travelled through the race.
Yeah, I was sort of half watching it. When you get very anxious about a race, I'm not a great sort of watcher. But I just liked the way when he gave him a dig, he came strong at the sort of 3-pole to keep on the heels of the leaders. And it was just that sort of, hopefully, whether he was going to go inside or outside Pinatubo. That was the only sort of anxious moment, but he got his run, and I think it was a very strong Guineas, and the time reflects that. And I know they're a month older to compare it to previous Guineas. The horses are a month older, and that's of some significance, but still, it's I think it was a high-class Guineas, and he was a very good winner.
The big question now, with his speed, looking forward to Epsom, is there any doubt in your mind about him getting the 1.5 miles?
I don't think so. I always thought he would. From the end of last year, really, I thought, in my heart, I felt that was the right race for him, because he settles very well. He's a very relaxed horse, and he's got a very good turn of foot, and he's well balanced. And I thought he handled the dip really well this time, and I think he's got he's got everything you'd want to go there with a live chance.
Yeah, look at him this morning. He's a neat horse, isn't he? He's well proportioned, isn't he?
Yeah, and the other thing, he's just fantastic attitude and relaxed nature, which again is a help.
You must be very proud as well of what Ashin's achieved, not only being champion jockey, but that he started here. And just watching him this morning, I was just saying to him, he's just like you wouldn't pick him out for one of the lads or the apprentices, would you?
Yeah, I mean, he's done remarkably well, Ashin, and all credit to him, because he's a great lad as well, and he's done. He does so much outside of out of the saddle for the sport, which is a huge credit to him. But he's been part of the team for a long time now, and ridden us some really good winners, and I'm delighted for him.
And how difficult has it been for you as a trainer, with the COVID that's been going on? And it seems to be that you've been very level-headed. Annalisa seems to have got the job sorted out within the yard.
Yeah, well, I mean, Annalisa and Tessa have done an amazing job making us sort of COVID compliant with all the detail. And the office done a great job there, and the team in general have, some of those lads haven't been able to go back and see their families for a good long while during the lockdown period, and it was quite sort of tough on them. I mean, albeit we were thankfully outside in a lovely part of the countryside in beautiful weather, but it was quite tough for everybody during lockdown. and slightly frustrating for me, as with every other trainer, not quite knowing when we might resume. And thankfully things for us certainly have worked out well. The horses have come out of it in good nick, and I think we got it just about right, the balance of what work we've done with them.
I'm lucky I get to go round to all the different yards, but here the vibe seems to be really, really good.
We are really lucky here. I think we've got it's a good community. I think it's actually an advantage being out of a racing centre. We're our own sort of community, and people can walk to the village. We've got lots of things that can entertain the staff, whether it's tennis courts or football pitches or horse pools. And the fact that we've got quite a few families on site, I think, does give it that feel.
And I think that team building, obviously, that you and Andrew sort of install in the yard, it helps, and I think it reflects onto the horses, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think Andrew and I, we have a little bit to do with it, but I think, actually it is the key people in the yard are the head staff, the head lads, Charlotte, who runs the hostel, Tessa, the racing manager, Nigel, the head lad. They are all it's very important to all of them, that community spirit.
Here on Sky Sports Racing, we're really looking forward, obviously, to Royal Ascot, and from a trainer's point of view, it is the meeting that everyone wants to win at, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously a little shine off it this year in terms of, not having a crowd and obviously the prize money reductions. But it's still Royal Ascot, and it's got global significance, not just for this country. It has huge bearings on international bloodstock values, and it's, I'm very grateful to Ascot for actually, getting it on, and they put their head above the parapet long before anyone else, saying we want to run this meeting, and they should be rewarded and applauded for that. So to have that meeting on, albeit in strange preparation for the trainers, it's far better than losing it altogether. And
during the lockdown, you've obviously done plenty with your horses. We've seen the last couple of weeks that they're really forward. So some of these big guns that you're going to be running next week, that they should be fit.
Well, we took a decision about a month ago whether with some of them that certainly with the King Power horses, that some of them we go straight there and some of them we give prep runs to, because there is obviously the danger, as you well know, running close to an event like Royal Ascot, and you run well, and there's always that bounce factor that you just can't account for in the training. So some of them were going straight there, and some of them have had a run. So it'd be fascinating to see how they work out.
Just mention some of the big guns. Bangkok, of course, ran so well at the meeting last year.
Yeah, he's a high-class horse. You saw him work this morning. I think he's got all the gears of a top-class horse. It hasn't quite worked out how I'd hope it would in terms of his race record. He's absolutely brilliant in the Winter Derby trial. I mean, I think he broke the track record, was super impressive, and then sort of rather blew his lines, fluffed his lines in the Winter Derby.
It didn't happen though, did it, for some reason?
No, he sort of got keen, and albeit he was beaten by a very good horse, and I've no doubt of that. But we've no doubt this horse is capable of winning a Group 1 somewhere in the world this year, and he'll probably run the Prince of Wales's.
Okay, Fox Chairman,
we're going to start at a mile. He's going to run in the Queen Anne. It's a good springboard for the rest of the season. He's not short of speed. He's probably going to come on for the run. And we just thought it was a better staging from what we want to do after Ascot. But he's certainly got the quality to run well in the Queen Anne.
And he'd go further than the mile, would he?
Yeah, he'll step up to a mile and a quarter after that, I would have thought.
Okay. Ranch Hand, another one. I saw him actually win first time at Southall.
Yeah, he won a couple of times at Southall. You love him. He looks like a big sort of 3-mile chaser. I mean, he's a gorgeous looking horse. Very like Crystal. He looks just like Crystal Spirit. It was a jumper Dad trained years ago, won the Sun Alliance. Lovely horse, and I'm really pleased with him. He goes for the new mile 6 handicap if he gets in, which he should do. And as long as the ground isn't too fast, I'd expect him to run pretty well.
Okay. Shine So Bright.
Shine So Bright runs, well, he's a horse. It was obvious what we had to do with him. He runs so well fresh. He won first time out the free handicap last year, very impressively. Ran great race in the Guineas, just didn't get home over the mile. And then he had a long break and went to the city of York and beat Laurens in a fantastic race. And then rather sort of lost his way after that in 2 runs subsequently. But it was obvious just looking at his profile. He's a horse who runs very well fresh. So I'm not worried about him. He's had a racecourse gallop and goes to the Diamond Jubilee, I hope, with a sporting each way chance.
You'd have to, wouldn't he? I mean,
he's a very, his form stacks up, his 2-year-old form and his form of last year. He's got good each way claims, I'd say.
Another horse we saw this morning, Symbolise.
Symbolise, I'm really pleased with. He ran well at Ascot and the Windsor Castle last year, sort of slightly drawn in the middle of the track, which didn't help him. But we're really pleased with the way he's settling this year. So we're going to try 7. He'll go for the Jersey. If he stays a 7, I could see him going pretty well.
Fox Tal, again, another horse who's got proven Ascot form.
Yeah, I think we're sort of taking the chickens route a little bit, going for the Wolferton. He's been great. We're really pleased with his work. He goes well fresh. So
You could have gone Prince of Wales.
yeah, he could have done. He wasn't beaten that far in the Champion Stakes last year, and he's of that calibre. But the Wolferton's got to be an easier assignment for him first time out, and we've got plenty of time to step up in grade after that.
I suppose how over good you are. You can't beat winning, can you?
No, well, exactly that. And I think we want to try and develop him the right way, hopefully being into the better races by the end of the year.
Would it be fair to say you've got the best bunch of horses you've nearly ever had?
Oh yes, oh yeah, by some margin. Yeah, no, it's great. We always knew we had a nice bunch of horses. The older horses, we managed to retain a fair few of them to stay on this year, and the 3-year-olds obviously looked good last year, and they're doing their stuff this year.
Best of luck.
Thanks.